What's up, everybody? On today's episode, we're making a katana sword. I'm really excited. 640 layers, 1095, 15 and 20. It's already pretty close to dimension. Make a couple cuts, and then I'm gonna hand hammer it to shape. Finally time, we're ready. Going to Quench Town. Gonna quench this thing, hopefully keep it straight. Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Straight, the Rockwell's good. Feeling good, the hard part is over. The quench went perfect. Straight, very straight. Feeling good. That was stressful. Yeah! Really can't believe it. In all my experience, I expected this katana quench to go very poorly. It came out straight, and it's hard all the way through consistently. We call that a W. Victory. Pound it. So I've used up all my low grit belts right now, and I'm not gonna wait around for more to come in. I have to switch over to a 120 belt. A little high to still be taking off a lot of meat, but you know what? We're just gonna use it and try to get the sword flat, which is a big pain in the butt to get it smooth and even all the way down this long curved sword. So I'm just gonna switch over to hand grinding just for a little bit, and then probably come back over here and finish up on the 72. So right now the blade's almost finished ground completely. It still has a little bit of wiggle here and there and a little bit of bumps that I need to clean up. But I'm just gonna push pause on that and start working on this handle, get all the handle fittings worked on, and then we'll come back at the end and touch up the little bits we need to touch up on this blade. So this is a piece of Damascus. I believe it's 200 some odd layers. This is gonna be our tsuba, or the guard of the sword. So I've got some Damascus pieces left over. I'm gonna go ahead and throw those in the forge, and I'm gonna hammer them down to a thickness to make all the different spacer pieces, the seppa of the handle. I'm gonna make a couple little Menuki pins, little hippos, get to it. So in traditional Japanese sword builds, there are these Menuki ornaments, and they sit underneath the handle. It's usually a family crest or something to do with the smith or the family that the sword's going to. So for me, my own personal little crest, I'm gonna carve out a couple Damascus hippos that are gonna sit right underneath the wrapping, and it's gonna be pretty sweet. So all these little pieces that are going into the handle, they're all Damascus steel, so I have to clean them up. I have to get them perfectly polished so that when they go in for the etch, they come out clean and beautiful. These are two pieces of red oak wood. They're just gonna be the handle. I'm gonna chisel them out, glue them together, recess them. Woo! So for the handle, I'm gonna use a red oak. I'm gonna chisel out the slot for the tang so it fits nice and snug. Glue on the other side. And once the glue is dried, I'm gonna have to sand this thing down to shape. So one of the biggest challenges with this build is that there's so many little pieces that go into the handle, and they all have to fit perfectly, and all the dimensions and the lengths have to fit perfectly up the tang. Now I'm gonna try my best to do it in a traditional way where only a single pin is going to hold all this together. In traditional Japanese sword making, there's usually an underlayer from the wrap that is like shark skin, ray skin, a different colored material. Now for this build, I'm going to just leave the oak underneath the leather wrap. And what I'm going to do is burn the oak and then dye it red and seal it. So we'll have this awesome like blood red with black veins running through it that'll show underneath our leather wrap. And it should be pretty sweet. Now normally all the pieces on the katana handle, all the little different sections and spacers and guard are made out of, say, a copper, something soft that can be hammered, that's malleable, that can be worked cold. Now we're gonna do something crazy, something awesome. All of those pieces are gonna be made out of hundreds of layers of Damascus steel. But because it's steel, I'm gonna have to hot work it. So it's gonna be a little interesting. I'm gonna have to make some templates of the sword tang, of the wooden handle, so I can literally hot work and beat these pieces around to shape without ruining the blade or the handle. So right now, I don't have any dishing jigs or dishing plates. Making caps out of steel is really frustrating, and I might have to find some creative ideas here to get this done. So without a dishing plate, just making the caps in one piece is just ridiculous. So I've come up with a solution. I'm gonna hammer out a Damascus ring, fit to the template of the handle, my little template piece, and then I'm just going to put a little cap on it. And I'm gonna do all the welding from the inside. So hopefully you don't really see those welds. You might see a little bit of them in the end. This is a much better solution, for sure. Once I have all my pieces roughly cut out and assembled here, I'm going to start slotting all these pieces to fit up this handle perfectly and snugly. It's going to take some patience, but we're going to get this thing done. So all these handle pieces are Damascus steel, but I want to bump it up a notch. I'm going to take the ferric chloride I normally etch in, and I'm going to grind a bunch of brass dust into it and let that brass mix in with the ferric. And that's going to create a brass etching effect. So not only will the Damascus come through, but the pieces will also pick up some copper, brass, pinkish gold coloring, and it should look super cool. So I'm trying to just do the final fit on these little pieces, just little things where I want it to sit like this and not like this, not like this. I'm just painstakingly trying to get these things, these little pieces to come together just right. So because these two pieces on the handle are high carbon Damascus steel and not like a copper or a brass or something softer, I cannot cold work this at all. So I got it close, but it is not perfectly shaped to the wooden handle. There's still some gapping that's happening here in a couple places. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of extra leather and do a wrap close to the edge and just glue that on and then do the whole wrap over top. And I think this is gonna turn out just fine. So in a traditional Japanese sword build, there is no gluing of the handle, right? Everything is fit together. It's a takedown construction, and usually a single pin holds all these pieces together nice and snug. Now we're gonna attempt that here today, but if worst comes to worst, and there's a little bit of wiggle in the handle, I would rather everything be secure and use a little bit of glue here and there to hold it tight so nothing comes flying off and we can swing this thing around. So everything's finally coming together. The handle's wrapped, all the pieces are in place. I'm gonna do a final etch on this blade to get it nice and dark, and then we're gonna see what this thing can do. And that's it, the first build Katana, 640 layer blade, hundreds and hundreds of layers of Damascus steel and all the handle fittings. This thing was a bear. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Overall, a wicked piece. Super happy with it.